I got to move on now. We have another new legal front for President Trump. That surprise lawsuit from the DNC alleging that the Trump campaign, WikiLeaks, and the Russians conspired to defeat Hillary Clinton. DNC Chair Tom Perez joins us now from Washington. Mr. Chairman, thank you for joining us this morning. Let me begin with, you surprised a lot of people with the lawsuit and even drew some criticism from Democrats. David Axelrod put out earlier this week, right after you announced the lawsuit, spectacularly ill-timed, bets the POTUS strategy of portraying a sober and essential probe as a partisan vendetta. Everyone should chill out and let Mueller do his job. Your response?
I have great respect for David Axelrod. I have great respect for Director Mueller, and they can do their job while you have a civil suit pending. Why did we do this now, George? 3 reasons. Number one, in order to file a civil suit, you got to make sure you're filing it within the applicable statute of limitations. I don't know when Director Mueller's investigation is going to end, so we need to file now to protect our rights. Number two, we've done our job. We've done our homework. Over the course of the last year, we have seen story after story, brick after brick in the conspiracy between the Russians and the Trump campaign to affect the outcome of the election. I did my homework. We have a strong case. That's why we brought it.
Are you concerned at all?
George, we have to deter misconduct. We've got elections coming up in November. It's hard to win elections when you have interference in elections, and they've done it with impunity, and I'm concerned that it's going to happen again. So that's why we did it now.
No concern that it might interfere with the Mueller investigation?
No, I worked at the Justice Department for over a dozen years under Republican and Democratic administrations. We have our justice system has a criminal justice side and a civil justice side. I used to investigate police misconduct allegations. And while we were conducting the criminal proceeding, we invariably had civil suits that were filed, and we were always able to work out protocols so that we wouldn't interfere, the civil suit wouldn't interfere with the criminal probe. And we can do that again here. I have great confidence in Director Mueller, but we also have a civil justice prong of our legal system. I believe it's critically important here to seek justice and to expose the truth in the civil justice system because, frankly, as General McMaster said a while ago, the Russian misconduct, that we have not imposed sufficient costs on Russia for what they tried to do to the election. That is true. What he didn't say was why. We know why. This government didn't impose sufficient costs because they were conspiring with the government of Russia. And we have to deter this conduct. We can't allow it to happen again, George. That's why we're doing this.
We also have heard from President Trump as well on Twitter. I want to put that up right there. Just heard the campaign was sued by the obstructionist Democrats. This can be good news in that we will now counter for the DNC server that they refused to give to the FBI, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz servers and documents held by the Pakistani mystery man and Clinton emails. Does that threat worry you?
Not in the least. You know, the beauty of the civil justice system, which is why I believe in it, George, is it's not trial by tweet. This isn't going to be a kangaroo court with Devin Nunes. This is going to be an Article III court where facts matter and justice is served. And if they want to relitigate all of their wild theories, there's this thing called Rule 11 where you get sanctioned for trying to do things like that. That's why we have a civil justice system. You can't fire this judge who will preside over the case. You can't pardon defendants in a civil case. I think it's so important for the American people to see the truth here. We are fighting as Democrats to make our democracy works. We are fighting for good jobs and for health care for all, and we're fighting to preserve our democracy. And that is why I think this lawsuit is so important. And what Donald Trump said was very similar to what the Nixon administration said in 1972 when the DNC served them with a lawsuit then. So they're in good company with the Nixon administration, George.
How about the argument, though, that you're misdirected here, that, you've got big midterms coming up. Democrats have to be putting out a positive agenda by following the shiny object of investigating Trump, suing Trump, looking back at the campaign. You're missing the boat. It's going to backfire.
George, we can walk and chew gum. We're fighting for good jobs. We're fighting for health care for all. We're fighting for good teacher pay and good education. And we're fighting to preserve our democracy. You can't win elections. It's a lot harder to win elections if you have interference in elections. And what we're building at the DNC is a strong voter protection infrastructure. And one way to make sure we protect voters this November is to make sure we are doing our level best to ensure that interference never occurs again. We've been winning elections because we've been talking about the issues. We continue to talk about the issues. We have organizers on the ground in Arizona for Tuesday's election. We had organizers on the ground in the election in Wisconsin that occurred a couple weeks ago. We're organizing everywhere. We're winning everywhere. And one of the reasons we're winning is because people believe that we should stand up for our democracy. That's what we're doing in this lawsuit, George. We can walk and chew gum.
Tom Perez, thanks.